The renowned Anno strategy series, in its new installment, takes us back to the second half of the 19th century, to interesting time, as Sir Terry Pratchett would say. Technology growth and steam engines, Victorian England and Japan's emergence from self-isolation, the Russian-Turkish wars and the American Civil War, famous adventurers and travelers, tycoons and capitalism. The spirit of the era of perfectly conveys the new game from the Ubisoft. The setting of the Anno, the late 18, a scattering of islands somewhere near Britain. This is the where we go by selecting the game mode, campaign, sandbox or online session. For the online game we choose a number of opponents and victory condition, and since we have an economic strategy here, the winner will be determined by the amount of cash and population density on his town. Fire and sword in Anno, not the most important arguments. The sandbox offers management of your colony without any restriction, but also without a clear motivation. It is a mode for the most sophisticated economists, who are not interested in all sorts of conventions, like intermediate goals at each stage and so on. However, Sandbox is designed by the creator of the game as the main mode, and the end of the campaign the winner ultimately continues the process already in the sandbox. We strongly recommend not to ignore the Anno campaign for several reasons. Firstly, you can go through the neatly built tutorial in the first hour here. Secondly, the story here, so it does not mark the narrative revelation, but it's quite capable of capturing. The protagonist of the campaign, the helpless younger brother of the family Hood, is forced to return home to the old world from exotic lands. His father died, the bastard brother is trying to grab the family business, and we have to return the family name and build a capitalism paradise on a small island. We are introduced to a dozen of characters, constantly unveiling the script with all sorts of events and encounters, and the dialogues is quite good. There is no desire to skip them. All in all, there's no Game of Thrones here, but the plot is very good. From the prologue, we are getting to understand that the new Anno will require the most active participation of the player on his way to success. Just kidding. In the first minutes of the campaign we are jamming fish with dynamite, tossing explosives in the path of the School of the Herrings, as in some arcade games for cell phones. The player is not allowed to drown in the sea of tables and graphs, as it happened in some economic strategies. Yes, the well-organized product and organized life of the workers will allow you to have a cup of tea with a bar, but not putting the game on pause. But this is a level of improvement still need to get there. A feature of the whole series of Anno, and the new part in particular, here you need to constantly make a lot of actions, and perform them without intermediaries directly. You need to think over the buildings plan, completely manage the road network, adjust the balance of trade. We can meet it in every game of the genre, but be prepared for the fact that you will have to edit the local newspaper and personality take picture for each page beforehand. Clippers and fatigues under your command will scout the marine environs, demolish useless slums and repair depleting housing, personally load the hulls of ships and vessels with goods, and if the plot requires us to get available character out of jail, then prepare to first find him on a dryly pouring island, parking with the cursor at each slave and listening to the lines. The level of particular in life of the colony is very high. The game improves a very high tempo for its genre, and that's what it's good at. You won't get bored. The gameplay of the latest Anno can be divided into two parts. The first, calm and measured, with a claim to contemplation. Here we think big, plan the growth of our small empire, follow the mood of the masses, build production chains, and happily rub our hands looking at the growing money count. This process is familiar to those who played as a Settlers or Civilization. In Anno, this part of the gameplay is balanced and easy to master. The second part of the game, requires speed of decision and skill. For the economy strategy genre, Anno has again a lot of dynamics. In unseen neighborhoods waging fire, our sailboat rushed to rescue victims of the shipwreck. In uni building waiting for new posters on labor safety. The game opens in a lot of interesting details, and the degree of environments grow with each passing hour. And in some places, you can even see ambiguous elements of role-playing, so we can take for execution optional task, at times suddenly bumping into a non-linear. Convincing citizens can be taken on the schooner immediately to the local Alcatraz, and you can listen to witness of the case and arrange every trio, saving the innocent. The big capitalists and landowners will actively communicate with you, changing their minds depending on your action. Some will surely approve your rigid newspaper censorship, while other articles will broadcast happiness and harmony, and some of the neighborhood will be in favor of free speech and won't want to business with you anymore. In the end, we as a head of administration always have something to do. Sometimes this even makes you uncomfortable. There is no active pause in the game. You can speed up or stop time, but all decisions are made in real-time mode. This leads sometimes to fuse when you're trying to seamlessly load the ship with building materials and perform a side quest, for which the allotted time is coming to the end. That said, Anno feels both brisky, paced and seriously challenging. When you see that your town with poetic name of Hlibi is out of the financial hole and loose have turned into profits, you will get no less positive charge than when you get defeated in the main boss in another Mortal Kombat. The in-game camera controls are delightful. Any angles is easy to pick up, and the picture skills from covering just about the entire island to being able to examine small details, like gentlemen steering a bicycle with a giant front wheel. There is a lot to look at. The graphics of Anno are bright enough not to fall into an acid sketch, somewhat unrealistic but life-affirming, as you are looking at the selection of postcards in a tourist bureau. You can look for flaws in animation if you want, but you don't want to, as Ubisoft game is very cute in appearance. The music also deserves a tension ovation. The instrumental track with vocal parts are various and perfectly fit the whole game's spirit and set up an epic mood. You can hear the same level of soundtrack in the best historical moves, like The Last Samurai. You are likely to listen to the music in isolation from the game, but it's plenty in perfectly, highly recommended to try.